From the shining domicile that is Pittsburgh Comics, my old mannered comic shop owner, Colin McMahon, transforms into the world's greatest comic book talking TV host. Join us, true believers, for Comics Now!
Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Now for September 2022. It's back to school time, which means of course we're all going to have a lot more time for reading, right? Sure. But the summer events are winding down and lots of good stuff is leading up to their winter events and things like that, everything that's going on. Lots of fun stuff going on here at the store. I opened originally in 2006, the day after Labor Day. So September is always a very special month for me because that's the anniversary. And it's now been 16 years, so I'm going to say we're doing okay. This might not just be a whim anymore. So we will be doing a big anniversary sale after Labor Day, so keep your eyes peeled for information about that. But here at the store, we have Book Club, and it's going to be September 30th. We're doing Eternals by Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr. There's a big Eternals event going on with Marvel, and there's a lot of talk about Neil Gaiman because of the Sandman TV show that's on Netflix right now. So we figured that was a good kind of compromise between the two different things. And for the month, we're doing double points on all young adult graphic novels. It's a real booming part of the industry. Kids are really getting into graphic novels. And we have a huge section of graphic novels for the young adults and kids. So we're going to spotlight them in September. So come on down, take a look. So that's what we got. Yeah, 16th anniversary celebration extravaganza is my big note here. Okay. So now let's get on to the books that are coming. And we'll start with Marvel Comics. Okay, Marvel Comics still continuing on with Axe Judgment Day, Avengers, X-Men, and Eternals. We get issues 4 and 5 in September. The clock is ticking and midnight looms. It's not too late. And then the solicit for number 5 says, it's too late. So we'll see where that's going. We have Axe Avengers one-shot. This is Tony Stark has spent his life building suits to protect him. Now he has to enter a suit of armor that could kill us all. Can he survive? Can anyone? And then a bunch of tie-ins tying into the Axe event. We have Axe Death of Mutants 2, Immortal X-Men 6, X-Force 32, X-Men Red 6, Captain Marvel 42, Marauders 6, Fantastic Four 47, Avengers 60, and Amazing Spider-Man 10 are all going to be tying in this month. Also, Wolverine 25, a celebratory extravaganza, and an Axe tie-in. So this one's going to have it all. Then some new ones that they have coming out. We have All Out Avengers number 1, introducing the all-new Avengers series that starts in the middle of the explosive action and races to a shocking climax. An alien attack, a missing piece of wormhole tech, a city warped, its citizens transformed into hideous creatures loyal to an empress from the far side of the universe, and a certain Captain Marvel looking to her fellow Avengers with murderous intent. We have Midnight Suns, a dark prophecy and apocalyptic new villains with horrific powers, the likes of which Earth has never faced before, ordains a team of Midnight Suns to rise and tear stuff up. Magic, Wolverine, Blade, Spirit Rider, and Nico Minoru. But what does this new threat have to do with the Sorcerer Supreme's past? We have a new Marvel Voices. This is Community. This is a second Latinx book with a bunch of different Latin-related characters. Facsimile editions, we're getting Amazing Spider-Man number 1 and Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1. The Annual is the first appearance of the Sinister Six. Another anniversary book, we have New Mutants 30, is the 40th anniversary of the New Mutants. Throughout the past 40 years, New Mutants has remained a timeless yet contemporary voice for the marginalized youth who must grow up in a harsh, cruel world. This supersized issue crafts a mosaic love letter dedicated to the mutant youngsters who have become the beacon and the hope of a new generation of X-Men. Commemorating classic and new characters alike, this collection of shorts celebrates 4 decades worth of the joys and tribulations of being young, brave, and gifted in the world of X. We also have X-Terminators. So enter the Grindhouse of X. When Jubilee and Boom Boom agree to take Dazzler out on a night on the town to console her after a nasty breakup. They have no idea they're about to be kidnapped and put into elaborate death traps for their efforts. What are three girls with the power to blow things up to do? We also have Ms. Marvel and Venom, continuing the Ms. Marvel little one-shot series. This is by Jody Hauser and local artist Dave Wachter. Venom is on the hunt, but who is hunting Venom? Ms. Marvel teams up with Dylan Brock, the new wicked web-slinger on the block. Is a scheme to harness the symbiote rears its ugly head. And we have a new Alien series. Man-Machine and the most terrifying creature in the universe. It's an express elevator to hell, and you're going to want to be on it. A small colony of synths has settled in secret in a backwater moon when a company of United Systems soldiers come to them for help retrieving biotechnology on a hostile planet. That could be the key to saving humanity. The synths must decide whether the prospect of peace between man and machine is worth the risk of betrayal. And we also have a new Star Wars series, Star Wars Visions, which is spinning out of the animated series. Now on to DC Comics. We have Batman vs. Robin. This is by Mark Waid and Mahmoud Asrar. Spinning out of the events of both Batman Superman World's Finest and Shadow War, father and son will do battle in one of the single most earth-shattering tales ever told. Wow. Deep in the heart of Lazarus Island, the demonic legacy of the Al Ghul family line has at last been freed, and the devil Neza is out for blood. To reclaim his total domination over the earth, Neza has supercharged magic. Anyone who dares use it is overcome by a demonic evil which supercharges their abilities to dangerous, unpredictable, and in some cases deadly levels. With Demon in Neza's clutches and Bruce haunted by the return of an old friend, the Dark Knight and the Boy Wonder are pitted against one another in the battle of the century. We also have Batman One Bad Day Two-Face. This is going to be a series, I think it's 8 one-shots of different villains and their one bad day. Two-Face has always been viewed as Batman's most tragic villain. If only Harvey Dent hadn't been scarred by acid, he could have continued his good work as DA in Gotham City and been Batman's greatest ally and friend, right? Or has Batman extended Harvey Dent too much grace in his multiple attempts to reform? He'll question himself as Harvey Dent is free once more, scarred but seemingly free of Two-Face's influence. But when it's revealed Harvey Dent's father has been threatened to be murdered on his 88th birthday, will Two-Face be able to resist joining the party? We also have a Harley Quinn 30th anniversary special and a new Robin series, Tim Drake Robin. Step aside, Damian. The world's favorite Robin has got this. That's right, after years away, Tim Drake is taking center stage in a brand spanking new Robin series of his very own. A mystery over a year in the making takes shape as a new villain who's been hounding Tim from afar decides to take things up close and personal, putting everyone else Tim cares about in peril, as things go from bad to worse. All that, and Tim finally carves out a corner of Gotham City just for himself and sets up shop in his very own Murder Shack boat. We also have Dark Crisis 4 is continuing on. Witness the birth of the new DC Universe. Spinning out of the pages of The Flash, the heroes have learned the secrets of Pariah's new worlds. But at what cost does this knowledge come? And what can they even do with this information? Or even worse, perhaps Pariah and the Great Darkness want them to know. On Earth Zero, Destro continues to move forward with his plans to erase legacy heroics once and for all, while John Kent, Nightwing, and the ragtag group of youngsters rally to step up to the increasing number of challenges. And we have Dark Crisis Worlds Without a Justice League Wonder Woman special. When Pariah and his forces of the Great Darkness laid waste to the most powerful superheroes of all time, all hope was lost. Until now. To power his weapons of war, Pariah has captured each member of the Justice League and trapped them on worlds suited to themselves, or suited to their every dream and desire, while the planets themselves slowly eat away at their respective inhabitants. As Wonder Woman begins a new chapter in her life, Pariah has uprooted her to a reality he controls. How will the Amazon princess adapt? We also have Superman Warworld Apocalypse. This is wrapping up the Warworld storyline that's been running through Action Comics for a while. It has all led to this, the final battle between Superman and Mongul, and between the Authority and Mongul's unmade champions. The identity of the hooded stranger has been revealed, uncovering a shocking betrayal that threatens to crush Superman's rebellion forever. But as the fate of Warworld relies on Superman, the last chance to return his powers now lies with Natasha and John Henry Irons. This is at Flashpoint Beyond number 5. The Clockwork Killer's identity is finally revealed as the dust settles after a showdown at Arkham Asylum. But as we learn the truth behind how the Clockwork Killer came to be, Thomas is faced with a reality-altering choice. DC Horror presents Sergeant Rock versus the Army of the Dead. Now, this is written by Bruce Campbell. Yes, that Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness and Evil Dead, and drawn by Eduardo Risso, who did 100 Bullets. Berlin, 1944. The Nazis are besieged on all fronts by the Allied forces. Defeated is inevitable. But Hitler and his team of evil scientists attempt a last-ditch effort that may turn the tide of the war and rewrite history itself. A serum that resurrects their dead soldiers stronger than they were in life and sends them back into the battlefield. Now Sergeant Rock and Easy Company have been dispatched to enemy territory to face off against the strangest, most horrific enemies they've ever encountered. Nazi zombies. Human Target returns after a little break with number 7. Dark Knights of Steel is in the middle of a little interlude, but there's a one-shot coming. Tales from the Three Kingdoms. The L Kingdom has been ruled with integrity and honesty for generations by families from the Waynes to the L's. The future of the kingdom lies with its 3 heroes and the challenges they will face. But what really prepared them for their tumultuous future? What stories define Bruce, Zala, and Kal-El? We have Batman the Audio Adventures. This is spinning out of a podcast. Don't touch that dial, picking up right after the season finale of the award-winning podcast. The story continues in this new miniseries. A string of attacks has plagued Gotham's seedy underbelly, sending criminals into a panic. But it's not Batman who is striking at the heart of the city. It's a group of mysterious assailants on the hunt for an ancient artifact. Batman Nightwatch, number 1. After a massive breakout at Arkham Asylum, Batman and his team are on a mission to bring all the escapees back. First on the list is Clayface. Using social media, Batgirl taps into an informal network to track the villain throughout the city. This inspires Penny-One to create a more organized network of informants and spies called Nightwatch. Black Adam, the prequel to the movie coming out in October, is continuing. We have Black Adam, the Justice Society Files, Atom Smasher. Al Rothstein has big shoes to fill, very big shoes, but he needs to prove himself before he can call himself Atom Smasher. He has the costume and he has a mission. He just has to make it through the night in one piece. And we have a new Teen Titans book, Titans United Blood Pact. The Titans are back, united against a common foe. Are they? All seems lost when Tim Drake wakes out of uniform and seemingly out of time. Surely he was just fighting alongside Nightwing, Superboy, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Donna Troy. But where's Raven? And what links her to the Fearsome Five? A blood sacrifice is coming that will change the world forever. Now on to some of the other guys. Now we have Image Comics. Bone Orchard, 10,000 Black Feathers. This is Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. The first volume came out as a hardcover. This next one is going to be a mini-series of comics. Trish and Jackie are best friends at Avid Gamers, but when the line between reality and their fantasy world is blurred by an evil darkness, can they be the heroes of their own story? And we have a Creep Show, an anthology book. Chris Burnham terrifies with a tale of trick-or-treaters who might be taught what happens when they mess with the wrong house. And Paul Dini, Steve Langford, and John McCrae petrify with the party antics of Shingo, the birthday clown, with an appetite for more than cake. Each issue of Creepshow will feature different creative teams with uniquely horrifying standalone stories. Vanish is a new one from the former Venom team of Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. Oliver Harrison was a mythical hero who slayed the greatest threat to his realm before even hitting puberty, but that was then. As an adult, Oliver leads an average cookie-cutter suburban life, aside from the fact that he's mentally unstable, massively paranoid, smokes like a chimney, and gets blackout drunk every night to hide from his horrific nightmares. Will the arrival of a superhero team called the Prestige prove the madness isn't all in Oliver's head? And what about the epic fantasy stuff from his childhood? Join us for the brutal tale of magical worlds, gifted youth, evil sorcerers, superheroes, war, blood, guts, and death that punches you right in the face. Antioch, this is by the same team who did Frontiersman, and it's a little different spin on what's going on there. A king from a lost continent enters the world of man with a purpose, to stop us from killing the planet. But when he finds himself in a superhuman prison, his title is useless and his powers only matter if they help him survive. Flawed number 1. Jem Ez is a psychiatrist in Kafkaesque city of Setham. where corruption and brutality rule the streets. By day, she uses words to solve her patients' problems. By night, she takes a more direct and sometimes deadly approach. But when her practice puts her in the sights of an immortal serial killer, Jem finds herself embroiled in a power struggle that threatens everything she's ever known. The Least We Can Do. It's a new one. Mysterious magical power arises from a world nearly destroyed by war. A young woman fights for her ideas of revolution and to build a new society from the debris. Realizing that she can't do it alone, she has to prove her worth to the Eclipse rebels to join them against the dreaded Eden Army. Onyx is one from Chris Ryle. He did Rom, and this is kind of his version of Rom away from the license. Onyx arrives on a near-future Nigeria beset by overpopulation and food shortages, alongside another alien entity that corrupts all life forms in its presence. Is Onyx here to save the planet, or in its final throes, help hasten its destruction? Follow Me Down, a Reckless book. This is going to be the 5th in the Reckless series. This is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, and it's just been a really good criminal-type series. In the wake of the 1989 earthquake, Ethan takes a trip to San Francisco to search for a missing woman, but almost immediately he finds himself going down a path of darkness and murder in a case unlike anything he's ever faced before. Now we go on to Boom Studios. They have a new one called Briar. What if Sleeping Beauty never got her happily ever after, and instead had to save herself? Set in a brutal fantasy world that time forgot, this isn't the fairy tale you know. We also have The Stuff of Nightmares by R.L. Stine of Goosebumps fame. The master of horror puts his twist on the Frankenstein mythos. In Stine's reanimated reimagining, you're familiar with the classic tale of a mad scientist hell-bent on creating life. But what if these two demented brothers had created as something else entirely? Then Mighty Morphing Power Rangers gets to issue 100, so for fans of that. Dark Horse has a new one called Masquerade. This is by Kevin Smith. Felicia Dance is hiding in plain sight. The provocative social media star and shock TV sensation has one of the most recognizable faces in the world. So she can't capture and kill the butchers who murdered her little brother and experimented on Felicia like a lab rat when she was a child. Not unless she looks like someone else. The face of justice is forever reshaped in Masquerade. We also have Shock Shop. This is by Cullen Bunn. A brand new horror anthology flip comic taking place in a haunted comic book shop with a twisted retailer filled with tales of terror sure to leave you with the lights on. In Familiars, after a painful divorce, Trevor rents a house and tries to rebuild his life. Soon he discovers that the house appears to be haunted by more than one spirit, and the creatures begin feeding on Trevor's feelings and anger and guilt. In Something in the Woods in the Dark, a husband and wife going through a tough time go on a camping trip with a few friends. As they trek further into the forest, they realize that they are being stalked. Something in the Woods starts killing the campers, and it may have ties to the campers more than any of them realize. Then we have new Mike Mignola book, Castle Full of Blackbirds. When Sarah Mae Blackburn heads to New York after the events of Hellboy, The Return of Effie Kolb, she has one goal in mind: find the mysterious Miss Brooks at the Linton School for Girls and ask her what she knows about the mysterious powers that have plagued Sarah Mae her whole life. But as is often the case with these things, the answers are not as simple as all that. Sarah's in for an education in more than just reading, writing, and arithmetic at the Linton School. New one from Tim Seeley, The Roadie. A horror saga about nostalgia, heavy metal music, hell, and redemption. More than 35 years after its heyday, a former heavy metal roadie must return to the backroads of America to do a job he thought he retired from. Exorcist. But this time, he's not saving groupies and drunk bassists. He's trying to save his daughter. Dynamite has a new Vampirella series, Vampirella Mind Warp. Also a new Ninjette series. This is spinning out of Jennifer Blood series, group of teenage ninjas. They also have Scarlet Sisters one-shot. This is by a guy who just wrote a superhero book. I apologize. 3 heroes unite to save their city. But will their combined might be enough to overcome the forces threatening their home? When a mysterious and deadly cult-like organization inches closer to taking control of New York's criminal and political systems, Masquerade, Woman in Red, and the Lady Satan team up as the Scarlet Sisters. But can this new team solve the murder of one of their own allies while pushing back against their unseen, corrupt foes? Alex Segura, that's his name. Ablaze is a new, little bit of a darling with Diamond. They've been elevated to deluxe publisher status, and they're kind of a newer company, but they have some really interesting ones coming. We have Lovecraft Unknown Kadath. Randolph Carter, a traveling A traveler to dreamland tries not to wake up before reaching his goal, the elusive Kadath, the home of the gods, a place of fantasy and overflowing imagination. Carter walks through a world full of threats and abominable monsters, but also palaces, exuberant cities, and geographies that remind man of his insignificant role in the giant cosmic chessboard. What are the reasons to keep going when everything around us is terrifying and lethal? Kadath may offer some answers. We also have one called The Boogeyman. Monsters don't only exist in children's imaginations. Passionate about reading, Eliot has always been drawn to the stories of boogeymen. Those monstrous creatures which at night hide in the shadows or under the bed to frighten little children. He can't imagine how much they will change his life. Witnessing the bloody murder of his parents, he will discover that boogeymen do indeed exist, and very precise codes govern their existence. When one of the most powerful boogeymen, Father Death, decides to protect him, Eliot finds himself plunged into a terrible conflict at the heart of the universe, as terrifying as it is fascinating. On a dark, stormy night, Eliot's destiny will be fulfilled. Aftershock has some new ones. One, Hell is a Squared Circle one-shot. Ted, the Irish Muska Walsh, is a third-tier wrestling heel with a problem, himself. He's behind on the rent, child support, and his career. But he thinks he can change things. As he attempts to take control of his life, his actions leave him with blood on his hands. Ted finds himself on the run from the authorities in the darkness of his past. As Ted tries to escape his former self and build a new, better future, his mistakes come back to haunt him, in the ring and out. Also, Last Line. Shelley Hazard just had the worst day of her life. While on the usual shift as a driver for the Tube, the unthinkable happened when a man is pushed in front of her train and killed. But there's something strange here. Sally swears the man was pushed, but her supervisors, witnesses, and CCTV footage all show the man falling on his own. Sally cannot let this go, and her investigation into the murder introduces her to an MI6 agent named Edward Tarn, also curious about the so-called accident. Together, Sally and Ed discover an off-world explanation for the assassination, plus an alien invasion, and craziest plot twist of all, an interplanetary travel system buried deep beneath the London Underground. And then the 06 Protocol. The seemingly perfect life of the Marino family is shattered when family patriarch Faust is brutally murdered on a quiet summer night. His wife Kat and 16-year-old daughter Missy are forced to confront a shocking truth about Faust's involvement in a secret government program known as the 06 Protocol. Now Kat and Misty have to protect each other as they are hunted and haunted by the people and secrets in Faust's double life. Ahoy has a new one called Highball. Battlestar Galactica meets The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for a game of darts over shots. Meet space pilot Highball, the best shot in the galaxy, except for one problem. He can only hit the target when he's dead drunk. Archie has a new one, The Chilling Adventures of Weirder Mysteries, a little mystery anthology there, or horror anthology there. AWA is bringing back Erratic, which was one of its series. Erratic Recharged. The teenage hero with superpowers that only work for 10 minutes a day is back to save the world again as he navigates even more pressing perils. Young love, bullies, a broken family, and the gauntlet that is high school. This time, young Oliver Leaf is teamed with a barbarian princess who claims to be from another dimension. IDW has some new ones. Crashing. This is written by Matthew Klein, who used to be the sales manager at Valiant, and then now he works at sales with Penguin Random House, the new Marvel distributors, and he's decided to become a writer. So, Rose Osler is a specialist. Her focus? Patients with powers at a hospital with a no-powered patients policy. When a battle between Boston's protectors and destroyers erupts, Rose is trapped between saving the city's beloved hero by day and greatest villain at night. Except Rose could become a casualty when she's forced to risk her recovery. As Rose pushes past her limits to save everyone else, will she be able to save herself? And we have Earth Divers. The year is 2012, and it's the apocalypse exactly as expected. Rivers receding, oceans rising, civilization crumbling. Humanity has given up hope except for a group of outcast indigenous survivors who have discovered a time travel portal in a cave in the middle of the desert and figured out where the world took a sharp turn for the worst: America. Convinced that the only way to save the world is to rewrite its past, they send one of their own on a bloody one-way mission back to 1492 to kill Christopher Columbus before he reaches the so-called New World. But taking down an icon is no easy task, and his actions could prove devastating for his friends in the future. We have Star Trek 400. It's the 400th IDW issue of Star Trek, and so they're doing a celebration based on all the fan favorites over the years. Also have Star Trek's Lower Decks series spinning out of the animated show on Paramount Plus, and Star Trek Mirror War has a Troy one-shot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting a Saturday morning adventures. The G.I. Joe one went very well, and so this is spinning out of the world of the cartoon that everybody loves. SourcePoint Press has some new one called Heaven's Rejects. What if Charlie's Angels were real angels? When 3 violent, foul-mouthed angels are dumped on Earth after flunking out of Heaven's army, they find out the hard way that life ain't cheap. Good deeds don't pay the rent, so these angels agree to freelance for a gang of demons, killing their evil rivals for cash. Titan has a new Doctor Who special. It's written by Dan Slott of Spider-Man fame. He's always been a big Doctor Who fan, so he's finally getting to write it. And Valiant is bringing back Bloodshot in Bloodshot Unleashed. Dangerous super soldiers and bloodthirsty living weapons have mysteriously escaped into the world to wreak havoc across the dying towns and forgotten farms of America. Now Bloodshot must take up arms again to travel across the country, hunting down these violent monsters, battling his own demons, and defending the most defenseless. And now we're down to Vault. The Nasty #1, Scotland, 1994. 18-year-old Thumper Connell still has an imaginary friend, the masked killer from his favorite slasher film. Thumper is obsessed with horror and always has been. He fills his time with scary VHS rentals, hanging out with fellow fans, the Murder Club. But everything changes when his local video store acquires one of the notorious films known as Video Nasties. Films so scary, they're the target of the British Moral Decency League's crusade to ban and burn. But it's only a movie, right? It's all just imaginary, isn't it? A story about the perception of evil, the power of genre, the love of fandom, and the need to create art and terror. So that's what's coming out in September, along with all of your favorite books. The next issues of just about everything. Hopefully the publishers, I think, have finally gotten things in order and books are coming out faster. We seem to be getting them a lot faster now than before. So lots of great stuff coming this fall. So if you have any questions, the website's pittsburghcomics.com. Facebook is Pittsburgh Comics. Twitter and Instagram are PGH Comics. So if you have any questions, please ask. And stay tuned for Comic Previews Theater. See ya.
Your war for the environment led to a forest fire. Typical.
Battle XX, what's typical is a corporate lackey shifting the blame. You started this fire.
But I wouldn't have if you didn't attack. Simple cause and effect. Pollution is no different. Consumers want product, the company merely sells product. You can smash a company, but people cause the damage.
I'll smash them next.
Well, I'm not working for them, so best of luck.
That's right. You only contract for corrupt multinationals.
They pay better.
Congratulations. You are the most expensive bed in the hospital.
Target. B-scum sequence. Thorough cleansing.
Lackeys on lackeys. Your suit, does it peel off like an orange rind, or is it like a crab shell?
Is this foreplay?
This is demolition.
Damage. Sphere sequence self-preservation.
You sought to burn Antioch, the son of Pompey?
Alright, caveman, you win. Death is unprofitable for me.